3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to another live stream. Thanks so much for being here. I see Grown Man Gamer already hit us with that gold gang already in the house. You know we got to talk about gold today because it's doing some crazy stuff. We will get there. We're going to talk about some setups, some things to think about with gold. I definitely have an opinion there. So stay with me. We'll jump into all of that stuff today as we usually do here on the streams. If you're new, we do these Monday through Friday. If you're watching this back at a later part of the day, because I know a lot of my viewers, they're not able to watch this live, but they watch it later. But if you are able to watch it live, if you have the time, we do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern. So whatever time that is for you, you can come in, stop by, ask questions, hang out, chat with some of the other cool people in here, and you can be one of the people I say good morning to. So I'll go ahead and say good morning to some people. What's up, Don? Hey, thanks for being here. Dan, good to see you. Dale, Deneo, just me is early. No, you're here just on time. Welcome. Manny, awesome. Good to see everybody. What's up, Andrew? Good day to Ish as well. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. Welcome back. It's always cool to see some regular people in the crowd. Just fun to meet people over time. A lot of times I'll get a message on Discord, like somebody who joined the private group, and they'll be like, Nick, I watched your live streams for a while, and I decided to join you here. And I'm always like, that's so cool, because it just means, you know, you stayed consistently coming back, and you hung out with us, and you finally, you know, jumped in the Discord and went the full 9 yards with us. So shout out to all my friends in the private Discord as well who hang out with me on lives. So good to see everybody. Thanks very much for being here. Let's get into it. So let's look at the currency heat map for starters. The dollar is having a really good day. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the dollar. Maybe we can, I'm curious, what is going on with the US dollar? US weekly jobless claims fall below 400K. That's got to be it. So this little piece right here, US weekly jobless claims fall below 400K. So I'm guessing that there's some positive sentiment coming into the end of the week for the US dollar. We do have NFP coming out tomorrow morning, which I will be live streaming that. So tune in, come hang out then. We're going to be starting an hour earlier than usual. So I'll be here in the office early tomorrow, but NFP is going to be a big stream. We usually get up to 800 or 900 people in here, which is absolutely insane. It's kind of wild, but looking forward to it. It's always a really fun stream to do. But anyways, we have U.S. weekly jobs coming out at a good number. So good figure for the U.S. here. And we can look at that on forexfactory.com, forexfactory.com. And we can see if there's any latest data. So let's just filter this really quick. So we'll go turn off these for just a moment, apply that filter. And so we didn't have anything today, I guess, but interesting. Yeah. So we do still have that stuff coming out on Friday. So although the dollar is moving, I will say this. There could be some more dollar movements that could go the same direction or the opposite direction because we don't know exactly what the news is going to be, but it is looking positive going into the Friday release. And you can see that reflected here. Check it out on the DXY here today, taking a look at this chart, and you can see that the dollar is having a great day across the board, really pushing higher. If you don't know what the DXY is, by the way, the DXY is essentially the US dollar index. It is basically a traded thing where you can see how the US dollar is doing against a basket of currencies at the same time. A lot of this can be looked at. You can look at the Japanese version of this or the Australian dollar. There's always, ways to look at the overall index, but because the US dollar is such an impactful currency, I like to look at it just to see what's going on. So you can see we did put in some higher lows. The dollar is looking strong for now. Again, coming off the back of those positive outlook numbers, we are seeing some strength for the USD here towards the end of the week. Today is Thursday. Of course, we have one more day of trading here, and that tomorrow should be a pretty impactful day with all of that big news that's hanging around the corner. So we will, of course, be covering it and giving you guys as much content as we can. Remember to follow us on Instagram, both my Instagram, but also the A1 Trading Team Instagram. We're going to be putting out articles and content to try and keep you guys prepared. that is our mission here, is just to give you guys financial coverage and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, you follow my YouTube channel if you're watching me on here, but we have lots more content being pumped out by our team of analysts and researchers here at A1 Trading. So don't miss out on all of that stuff. So again, the US dollar getting a bid here today, and we're seeing a lot of the other ones pull back. You're seeing the euro pull back, you're seeing the pound pull back, which we will get into. Notably, we also see gold pulling back. So what are we thinking with the US dollar? Do you guys think that the US dollar is due for a going higher? Is it bullish right now? Is it going down? What do you guys think? Comment in the chat box, or if you're watching later, comment down below in the comment section. What do you think? Are you bullish? Are you bearish on gold? Sorry, not gold, on the dollar, and maybe against some of the other things, that could be meaningful information to look into. If you think the US dollar here is going to just roll over and give up again, then that could be a very, very interesting trade bias. If you think it's going to rocket ship back up to 90.7 here, test resistance again, that also could be something that either keeps you on the sidelines if you're short biased, or if you're long biased, maybe even gives you a catalyst to look for long side action. But again, some good news for the dollar today. So I'm not going to lie, it is, unemployment is a big factor for currencies. So whenever it comes out as very, very good or better than expected, it is a strong catalyst. So I'm being cautious with my positioning. I do have one position against the dollar open right now. So, we will see how that plays out. But again, just going to depend on that dollar strength or weakness. Okay, we got some people who are saying bearish, bullish. Bullish, says Evan. Abdul says, can you take a look at euro yen? We will get to a lot of charts, Abdul. Stay patient with me, my friend. We go through a process each day. If I was constantly just jumping chart to chart and looking at everybody's things, I would never really get to give any full insight on one chart, because I'd be, people are asking throughout the streams, can you look at this? Can you look at that? And if you stick around, I'll get to a lot of them. Just be patient with me, my friends. Let's keep going then. Okay, so we get some mixed sentiment on the dollar. I think personally that the US dollar has some resistance here. If you're looking at the lower time frames, like if we jump to the 1 hour chart for just a moment here, you do have some barriers for price. We saw this big wick. It actually makes it hard to draw it on the 4 hour or the 1 hour chart, because we saw this nasty wick where price went up and came shooting right back down. But if you can actually see it, I guess you can see it easier on the 4 hour chart. You can see that wick. If you're drawing across the closes, you've got a resistance where we currently are at, but it does arguably look like price is trying to break out of that right now. So again, that breakout here on the lower time frames, watching for that on the 1 hour chart, could lead to some further upside for the US dollar. I would be more interested in looking for shorts should we poke up to a region like this, because again, the US dollar on the higher time frames is looking a bit oversold. It's looking like it's been beat up, and it found some pretty solid support down at the lows here. Again, looking at that 4 hour chart, we had multiple points of interest here where dollar buyers, dollar bulls basically jumped in here. And now with this breakout, it does look like for the day, it will probably remain bullish. We will see if that's right or wrong. But again, that's my outlook. I think a more interesting area would probably be, like I said, a drift up to that 90.7, somewhere around this region. That could be where I look for more shorts on dollar crosses. Speaking of dollar crosses, let's jump into some. We'll take a look at Euro USD here, which is probably on the dippy dip right now. There it is, pulling back pretty hard. You can see some pretty fat red candles there on the 4 hour chart as price basically rejected this 1.226. So again, a couple times where price tried to poke up into this region on the euro. I am still, I think that this currency pair probably heads higher overall, unless we just get massive bulls on the US dollar that take over. If that happens, then I'll probably just, eat my own words and take losses where I need to. But I do think that the US dollar is not something that I'm personally super bullish on right now. It's not something that I'm, looking to go buy. It's, if anything, I'm looking more for short opportunities at this time. Again, it will also be dependent on what we see tomorrow with that NFP data. If it comes out just super bullish for the US dollar, then maybe I'll sit more on the sidelines and just stop out of my positions. But I'm hoping to see, I guess I'm not hoping to see unemployment spike or anything like that, but I am bearish on the dollar. I don't think it is I don't think it's the best place for me to park my money right now. I like things like the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the pound, a little bit more right now than buying the dollar. So with that said, with the euro dollar, we are pulling back to support. So if you are a bull on the euro, keep an eye on this area. Could be interesting. We could probably also draw some fibs if we wanted to. If we go from fib retracement from the lows here to the highs, we're coming into that 38.2% retracement level. So if we draw, if we're talking about this trend here from high to low, we've got this little, nice uptrend, nice pullbacks to levels here. And the question is, can we get, a hold on this 38.2? If so, I think the risk to reward is not bad. You've got, you've got upside. We've talked about many times on stream that target that I personally have up at that 1.234. So for me, if I'm looking at this thing, I'm saying, okay, well, if I think it's headed to 1.234 and I'm willing to swing trade this thing a little bit more, I like this idea. This is like a pretty tight risk reward. That's like a 5-to-1 if you were to risk that. Just the nature of my trading strategy. Like, I don't like to set strict targets. I like to trail stops because truthfully, if the trend really gets going, for me, the way I see it is like, I don't know how far a trend is really going to go. Right. I do know, however, where I want to get out of a losing position fairly quickly. Right. Because this gives me, let's say I take this trade. Let's say I'm long on euro dollar here. If I'm long on euro dollar right now and I'm saying, I don't know how far this thing goes. Maybe it runs, maybe it does a massive, great bullish run and the dollar becomes weak again and everything is great and we're hanging out at the pool and it's all good. Right. That would be a cool scenario. But the idea here is that I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if it's just going to do one of these and then do this. The market is not super predictable. It is fairly unpredictable at times. However, what I can do is I can make a measurement of how much I want to risk, why I want to take a trade, and align, if I can speak, align the factors as much as I can in my favor to try and take a trade setup, take an entry that gives me the most potential reward relative to my risk. So if I'm looking at the euro dollar, I'm saying, okay, it's pulling back. I like that discount. I've got to stop underneath structure here. That's where I want to basically bail on the trade. Yes, it may do this every once in a while, and people will call me a dummy. And in my videos, I get comments like that occasionally. People are like, Nick, you should have done this. You should have done that. But for me, this is like my trading style. Everyone has theirs. I'm sure you have something that is probably different than mine. And so, for me, I'm saying, okay, I can take a trade here. The risk is pretty well defined and the reward or the upside is also pretty steep should this nice little uptrend on the euro continue. Is the euro trend over? Well, I'm not gonna jump to conclusions. That's the whole thing with trend following is you don't try and say when the trend is over. You try and just look for opportunities to stay in it as long as possible and cut losses when it is pretty clear that it is no longer as bullish. That's pretty much it. So Razvan says the euro will go down to 1.20995. Where is that? 1.20995. I pull back to the 61.8 approximately. It could happen for sure. It would kind of go against this trend if you're betting on that. And also, because like if you think about this, and I'm not saying it can't happen, it totally could. If you think about it, the euro never really tagged its top. So for me, I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, most likely, a lot of times we see this on charts. A lot of times we see a big key level that everyone is aware of, right? Everyone knows about gold's all-time high, Bitcoin's all-time high. It is almost like fairly likely that prices want to go back and test those again. With all of this bullish pressure, the reason I have a target here at 1.235, the reason I have that target in mind, it's more of like a mental target, like where I see the euro dollar extending itself to. If I'm looking at that, everyone is sort of like, okay, that was a previous high. We've got a nice bullish run. Let's see what happens if price does get back to that bullish high. Can it break it? Can it not? We don't know, but I think it at least wants to try it, right? So that leaves us with this whole space for that uptrend to continue. So I'm saying I personally bet more on the euro here than the dollar from a technical perspective and also a fundamental one in terms of the inflation numbers and everything that's going on with the US dollar. The Fed's not super interested in raising rates right now. So I don't know. That's my overall opinion. I know we went kind of in detail with the euro today, but some of you guys who like the euro or like trading it, maybe that was helpful to you. If it was, smash that like button and let's keep going. Let's take a look at the pound really quick. We'll take a look at GBP. USD, and see what's going on with the pound today. A whole lot of the same old, same old. We're still chopping up here at 1.42. Can't seem to break this level. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart, and price is basically just hesitating still at this resistance point. So as we come into the we're looking at the 4-hour chart, like I said, so 1.42, chopping around up here and just can't seem to break it. If we're able to break it, if we're able to do something like this, able to get above some sort of pullback, then like I said, I've talked about this many times. I'm all for that idea, but I have to see, buyers still interested. Otherwise, this thing looks just top heavy until we see that, right? So for me, it's like, if anything, I've got to see it break higher and look for a retest, something like that. I really like that idea. But as we just sort of hover here, not super interested, because again, this is after a long run up. So after a long run up, if we consolidate, that's fine, but I'm not going to buy the consolidation. I'll buy either the break and retest, or I'll buy, a true pullback. If we saw, a dip to 1.4, I've talked about that level a lot, maybe interested in taking a buy position there, because maybe that could give a chance for fresh buyers to come in on a pullback and, really drive prices higher. Because a lot of times you have to think about it. If price is like thinking about this level for a long time, if they're like chopping back and forth, but then you get a dip and then there's just strong buying just below, the reason that that's a big deal is because if buyers are stepping in all around here, there's not a whole lot of places for price to go if those buyers are going to be sitting there buying it down here. So people say, okay, well, it's probably got a lot of a pressure pushing up, so it could have the room to break it, right? And that's the whole concept behind retests, impulsive moves, retests, breakouts, pullbacks, right? The whole idea is that it's showing a rise in demand. And so I'd either want to see enough demand to break us right through, or a retest that shows lots of demand. Either way, I could see myself looking for long setups on the pound with good risk to reward. So, I'm not gonna talk about like, the scenario back here. If it starts to dip, I might talk about that more on stream, but again, gonna depend on what happens with the US dollar going into the end of the week. Hey, I do want to pause as we get up to 500 viewers and just give a shout out to our sponsor today, tradingview.com. You guys see my charts every day if you watch my streams. If you like them, if they look clean to you, the chart platform that I am using for the new traders out there is tradingview.com. Most of the experienced traders or people who've been doing this for a while, they know about TradingView because of how amazing it is. You have so many features. You can do currency correlation, you can apply indicators, look in financials, you can save templates, you can do the replay function for back testing. It has a million tools. It's amazing, and it is my absolute favorite platform. And I'm so thankful that they have chosen to sponsor our content, sponsor our live streams here on the channel. So like I said, if you enjoy TradingView, head over to tradingview.com, give them, or sign up for a free account over there, completely free. You can try it out for yourself and see if you like it, because I personally do. I use it every single day. So like I said, sponsored by TradingView, and a big shout out and thank you to them for helping us to keep the lights on and to continue to do what we love, which is talk about markets and share insights and coverage with you guys. So like I said, big shout out and thank you to tradingview.com. So yeah, going on with that, with the pound, like I said, I'm basically at a pause. So let's go ahead and move on from this one. We'll talk a bit about gold here, XAU, USD, and here we go with the big one. Look at that, gold breaking right through support today. That's a big deal for sellers here. Wow, very, very interesting stuff on gold. And this to me looks like we've got a little bit of a switcheroo on the gold market for now. Looks like we might have a little bit of a flip around for a minute here on the gold side. So bulls were just absolutely in control for weeks now, but let's talk about what we see going on now with the gold market. So Yeah, Ivan makes a good point also. Good to see you, Ivan. Thanks for being here. Ivan says that you have two events that can push the dollar down, either NFP or the Fed meeting on the 16th of June. Both of those are major things that could have high impact on the US dollar and hence also gold. So anything that trades against the dollar, right? Gold versus the dollar, the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, all those, right? Are going to be impacted by heavy US dollar news. And so keeping an eye and keeping tabs on those things can be very, very important to, especially if you're like a day trader. If you're like short term and you don't like to be, moved by news all of a sudden, definitely keep an eye on those releases. So let's talk about this gold movement because it does look very, very interesting. We've got a price pullback here after finally breaking through this trend line here to the downside. So I'm not a bear on gold. I'm not interested in shorting gold personally, but I will say for the shorter term traders out there who are looking to capitalize on this, personally, I think that this thing has more downside. Ooh, voice crack. I think it has more downside because we broke through this trend line to the downside. We see a little head and shoulders pattern here. It's not the prettiest one, but you can check it out here. So we'll use one of TradingView's tools. Why not? We'll go here and we'll look for head and shoulders. So check this out. So here's our left shoulder. Here is the head of the movement, and then the right shoulder is right here. So there we go. So it's just a cool little feature that TradingView has, but you can kind of see there's the head and shoulder. You've got, the left shoulder over here, the head, and the right shoulder. And what you see here is that this level, that little dotted line at the bottom, is what we would call the neckline, right? So the neckline of the head and shoulders has been broken, which is kind of like the key component to me. It's like, okay, yes, you can have a lower high, which is a sign of weakness, but it really matters if we break underneath the neckline, which is kind of like the line of support. So on a 4-hour chart view here, the gold market looks very bearish for the short term. Now, long term, I'm still bullish on the gold market. So I'm not saying, hey, it's never going to come back. It's going down to zero. What I'm saying is that for now, it looks like sellers are in control, and you can still be on a bull. You can be bullish on something and just admit, hey, the sellers seem to be pretty strong for now, and that's okay. For the short-term sellers, honestly, this pullback may look very interesting on the lower time frames. If you are bearish on the gold market, a push down to 1840 does not seem ridiculous to me, especially after we've been running up so much. Something like this, the broken neckline after all this run up looks very, very interesting. Because you got to remember, when you get all this buy pressure, if people are going to start taking profits and selling off their positions, that can lead to some pretty sharp retracements. And we're seeing something very different on the gold market this time. Every other time we've seen gold pull back, we see a very quick buy up, right? We see prices just wick to the bottom and get bought up. And we're not seeing that right now, at least not yet. We saw a very, very convincing 4-hour candle close bearish here on the gold market. So you can see, like I said, this candle, it closed literally like right there at the low of the 4-hour candle and broke clean through that neckline. So very bearish for the time being. If things change around, then of course we may look to change the idea there. But for me, looking at this like on the 1-hour chart, this just looks bearish. So I would say, that has potential to continue lower, maybe even to 1850, 1840 range, somewhere like this, where I think is our next major level of support that we've identified here on the stream. So again, last time we were at 1840, we can see it on the 1-hour chart pretty well. You had all this sell pressure, right? You had sellers stepping in and pushing this price, but then we saw the breakout, the retest, and just went super bullish from there. So I would say that, a pullback to that point is very possible. Especially if the dollar stays strong tomorrow with NFP. If the US dollar comes out very, very strong tomorrow out of the gate with NFP news, very possibly could see gold dipping down to 1840. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at with this. I would say everything in here is kind of choppy, kind of hard to find a strong level of demand. So I would say personally, just waiting for an 1840 level to be a buyer for me would be the most interesting point. So yeah, I think big picture, similar to the euro dollar, I think we're probably due to head back to the highs at some point. We'll look at the daily chart. We're backing out big time here. Again, that trend line breaking here. And that's what happens when you get something that just runs and runs and runs and starts to get stretched a bit, which we said the last few days. I said, I'm not running to buy the gold market just yet. Got to see a pullback. And there it is, pulling back hard today. So like I said, a bigger pullback there could be an interesting move before ultimately looking for that retest of 1950 that we've covered here on the stream a few times. So trying to look big picture here. Seems like this is a dollar strength and gold bearish move because of the 10-year T-note and Bitcoin doesn't move. Ooh, interesting. What is Bitcoin doing today? So Bitcoin, Bitcoin hasn't really dropped much at all. So gold, interesting. Yeah, you have that's actually a very, very good point about the fundamentals here. Ivan pointed out the fact that you have a lot of gold sell pressure because remember there's this if you're newer to markets and trading in general, there's this ancient battle between gold and bonds. And the thing here is the Fed came out and said some stuff that was positive for the bond yield. Now, the reason that there is an interesting argument here is because you have there's like billions and trillions of dollars of like investment money, all the super rich that are just investing their money in something. They're not trying to trade it. They're not trying, maybe some of them are, but maybe a lot of them are just looking to park money in places that hold against inflation. So if you have something like gold versus bonds, these are both assets that people like to try and buy as a longer term investment. Well, you have this argument where when the yield rises on bonds, you have to remember that bonds offer positive yield, meaning that just by holding bonds, you can collect some sort of coupon rate. But when you have gold, you literally collect nothing. You are holding on to a metal, something that came out of the ground. Right? It's not backed by, anything. It is just a metal that, yes, it has appreciated over time at a slow rate, but bonds, the argument here is if you have all this money, let's say you have $1 million to passively invest, are you going to put it, if you have two options, are you going to put some of it in gold or are you going to put it in bonds? Well, if this yield is increasing on bonds and it's looking really appetizing, you're going to have way more people rush into the bonds market. And in fact, you may even have people who are selling out of their gold to go buy bonds instead. And this is the trade. Now, the opposite has also occurred where, yields are lowering, you get negative yields, and that's not so positive for bonds. And you get the exact opposite. You have concerns around inflation and people do, this, they sell their bonds and they go for gold. So it's monitoring that constant battle between the two. That is very, very interesting. But right now, it does seem like we are going this way for the time being, especially with that recent latest data. So thank you, Ivan, for making that point. And I hope that makes sense to some of the newer traders. I try and explain that as simply as I can, but again, bonds, that all markets are connected. Some people are like, oh, I only trade Forex. No, you really don't, because to be honest, they all talk. The stock market, the bond market, the Forex market, they all sort of have relationships to each other, and it matters. You may not need to like look super close to one direction, but it is one of those things you gotta understand. Jack Hammond, congrats on all the success, man. Just stumbled on your YouTube channel again. Jack, what's up, man? You guys, Jack is my old roommate from college. Well, like freshman year roommate. So what's up, Jack? Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you showing up. Yeah, thank you very much. We've come a long way as a little community here on YouTube. Back in the day, I was just like streaming in my college bedroom, and then for some reason, all these weirdos just started doing market analysis with me every day. So, but yeah, cool to see you, Jack. Thanks for showing up. Yeah. So my thought with gold there, like I said, is I'm sitting on my hands until we see a true pullback there. Anyways, what else do we got? What else can we talk about here on the gold market? Honestly, that's probably as far as I want to go with it for now. We can keep looking. We can keep chugging along. Let's talk about the stock market for just a moment. We'll take a look at SPX 500. This is the U.S. stock market, U.S. index. Basically, it's the top 500 companies shown in a single chart. So let's look at this from just from a daily chart for just a moment. You can see we've sort of been hovering back and forth here. Not a whole lot of movement. I've talked about, like, for me right now, same thing. It was with gold. I'm pretty much sitting on my hands with this. If it were to dip again, maybe there's some opportunities to go long. Until this thing truly sells off, I'm pretty much always a bull on it unless we see serious change in direction. Usually I use something as simple as the 200 moving average to help guide my my trading on this thing. So, for example, back in COVID, I took some trades on the way down that totally were terrible, right? So I took some losses on the way down. Fortunately, I stopped, short-term trading at all at this point, like on the indexes or indices, but then, ended up taking a lot of long positions down here, not as trades, but as investments. And those have been pretty rock solid. But again, I use that as just a general, filter. So if I'm looking at this thing, I'm looking pretty much to be buying this thing anytime it is above the 200-day moving average, whether that be individual stocks, trading the indices, whatever I'm doing. So I maintain a bullish thesis until that changes directions, because I don't want to jump to conclusions and say, oh, this is the top, because there are many instances where it may look like the top, but then it just keeps going, right? If you're sitting here trying to sell the top all the time, it's a rough game. Also, you've got, the 200 as just a very nice little level of support. I remember actually talking about this with Frank a lot. We talked about how, on this dip back in 2018, that 2008 was just a stubborn mule at holding that level and just continuing to push things higher. So I like that setup. I like, waiting for a discount, waiting for a pullback before I get involved in any stocks. I personally would not be touching any stocks at this time. Same concept as gold. I'd like to buy it, but I'd like to buy it on a discount. Just started a new job a few months ago. Maybe I'll come to you for some investment advice at some point. I think you need to probably talk to a professional. I'm more just I share my thoughts and opinions here on YouTube, but it is cool just to hear from you, man. I'm glad that you're doing well. Start a new job. It's awesome. Tough on the NJ stop loss at Nick. We go again. Yeah, Griffin, I took that loss. No fun, but truthfully, I had a pretty dang good winning streak recently. If only it was, I was saying this in the chat with some of the people on our Discord. I was saying, if only every month was as good as May, things would be really, really easy, real cheeky out there. But the truth is, not every trade is a win, and not every month is even a win. So, it had to end at some point, but the win streak did finally end. Took that loss on NZDJPY, and kind of glad that I did, because you can see there's the trade. Look at the 1 hour chart for just a moment. So I took the trade right around here, bought into that pullback. Let's wait for the arrows to show up. I am logged into my broker, so it should show up. That's weird. Hold on. 4 hour chart. There they are. Yeah, so I bought right here, and I ended up getting stopped out on this big red candle. So took a loss there. I think it was like $300, 320 or something like that. So not the end of the world, but it is what it is. We had some great trades in the last few weeks. So it was time for that to finally end. Everything good must come to an end at some point. Hey, Nick, I just wanted to say I stumbled upon your channel yesterday and super glad I did. You're the first person I've been really able to follow and understand. Well, I'm glad. Thank you very much, Sonia. Thanks for being here. Joseph says one-on-one mentorship. I don't do that. I pretty much reserve all of my thoughts and, concepts and things that I've learned over the years. I put them all on my YouTube channel for everybody. So I don't do one-on-one just because, it's a bit much. Are we doing a giveaway? Oh, let's see. Are we doing a giveaway? Oh, look at this. So Lily works here in the office, but I think she's trying to get me to read Julie's chat. So let's look. We're doing a giveaway on Instagram, says Julie. Julie is she's one of our marketing people here at A1 Trading. So Julie says we're doing a giveaway on Instagram. Go comment on our post to enter to win a free month in the Forex community. So as Lily says it, are we doing a monthly giveaway? Yes, we are, Lily. Guys, go check it out on Instagram. They're doing something cool over there. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to pull it up on my phone just because I'm curious. Did we already post it? Let's see. A1 Trading. If you guys aren't following us on Instagram, by the way, follow our page. We're trying our butt off to give you guys the best stuff we can. We just crossed over 4,000 followers, which is like the coolest thing ever. So thank you guys for all the follows. Look at that. I'm on it. Let's see. Miles, can you pull up the full view for just a second? Let's look at this. So there's a giveaway going on, or just the, there it is. The giveaway going on. So don't miss that giveaway. Look at that handsome guy. Fantastic giveaway opportunity. Yeah, so don't miss that, you guys. I'm going to put that on my story too. I got to do it now so that I don't forget later, because got so many things going on that I'm quick to forget stuff. All right, cool. Yeah, so go follow us on Instagram. What are we at? Let's see how many followers we can get. Guys, can you guys go make Julie's day today? She will be so happy if you go follow the page. So I just looked and we were at like 4,124 and we're almost up to 4,133. Do me a favor, guys. Everybody real quick. Let's do something fun. If you guys want, we've been doing like news coverage and everything on our Instagram page. Let's make Julie's day at A1 Trading. I'm trying so hard to write well. Team on IG. If you guys would make Julie's day for me really quick, that would be really cool. Julie, by the way, big reveal. I've said this many times, but Julie is my sister. So be nice to her and go give her a follow, please. Look at that. We already jumped like 10 more followers. But yeah, she's gonna be like all happy if you guys do that. So that would be awesome. Denise says, I already followed on Instagram. Thanks, Denise. Sorry, Nick, I don't have Instagram. No problem, Ish. Appreciate you wanting to help, though. Again, yeah, go give her a follow. Well, give us a follow. It's a team effort over there. We got a whole cast of characters trying to put out all the content we can for you guys. So help us out. Thank you very much for that. So what else can we look at? We looked at gold here for a little bit. We looked at the US dollar a lot today. Let's see if we can look at what's Aussie yen doing. It's probably moving a lot like New Zealand yen. Still stuck at this resistance point. For the traders out there watching Aussie yen, we just cannot seem to get past this level. I love the idea of a break and retest on this one if we got some bullishness on the Australian dollar, but we are going to have to just sit and wait patiently there. But again, just kind of waiting on that one. What else? Can we talk about the dollar CAD? Okay, look at this. The dollar CAD is really doing something today. Look at this. It's so bearish right now that you have to like really zoom in to see even what's going on down here. So we've been just incredibly bearish on dollar CAD for the last several weeks. Let's zoom in here and get an idea of what's going on here on the 4-hour chart. Like I said, it's really like the volatility has shrunk a lot too. Like check this out. So if I look at the ATR, check out the ATR. So back here, every 4 hours on a 4-hour candle, we were moving like 35 pips. And now every 4 hours right now, we're moving like 20, 25 pips. So things have really slowed down recently as we've just chopped back and forth at the lows here. I'm not going to rush to sell this thing. Honestly, I took a sell here. You can see my orders from my broker here. I took a sell here, and then I stopped out right around here. That was a pretty good trade. That one was just a massive, beautiful sell-off. I thought it was going to keep going, but it did not. So now I'm waiting here. Look at that. That US dollar is just so strong today. So yeah, I'm going to sit on my hands today and watch that US dollar a little bit more. If price does rally back to that point, maybe I'll consider a sell, but I really think that, because this is looking so bullish at the lows, for me with the dollar CAD, it's sort of like I'd like to see a fresh level of supply. Because again, a lot of times what happens is when you like knock on the door, eventually it opens. That's kind of like the basic concept, right? A lot of times price will come up to a point like this. It'll try again and maybe eventually break out. So we've tried at this level a few times. Sellers have not been able to really hold it just yet. So I'd personally really like to look at the dollar CAD a little closer. Should we see something like this where we break higher and then we find fresh support? Because what I mean by fresh is, we haven't been at this level for a while, and sellers may really line up should we get up to that point. Does that make sense? That's the thought, at least on dollar CAD. So I really like 1.21, like 9 up to that point where you have some fresh sell pressure from that crazy sell-off we saw back in the start of May here. So yeah, so just being patient on that one, just watching this. I think Frank took a trade this morning. I've got it pulled up on the Discord. Oh, interesting. Okay, he's looking at the SPY as well. Interesting stuff. So yeah, dollar CAD. I'd like, again, this is looking very bullish here. And if we look at the 1 hour chart, it's probably going to look even more bullish, right? Look at those big fat green candles as the US dollar looks pretty good today. Again, I don't like to just jump in the way of something like this unless I really have a good reason to do so. So just going to wait to see if we can get an extension up here. And again, like I said a couple times, for the people who are just tuning in, really going to have to watch that news tomorrow with NFP. I am going to be live early tomorrow. Like I said, I'll be here in the office probably super early. I'll probably be here like 7 because we've got the live stream at 8, and I usually take some time to prepare. So what I mean by tomorrow's news is we have NFP. So for the newer traders out there, this is the US numbers in terms of unemployment that come out once a month on the first Friday of each month. The reason that is impactful is because if unemployment is bad, usually we see the currency do poorly. If we see unemployment really good, right, we have better rates of unemployment, like less people are unemployed, that is usually considered a bullish thing or a good thing for the US dollar, right? So watching that tomorrow, I'll be live streaming that to watch the movement with you guys. Sometimes we get some pretty big spikes. So I'll make sure to have that scheduled for tomorrow so that you guys can set a reminder on the YouTube channels. We have 2 channels now. Yeah, so that could be very, very impactful. I don't know what it's going to do. I mentioned yesterday on stream, every single like NFP or major news event, people will send me messages and they're like, Nick, which way is the news going to go? As if I know. And I really don't. So don't ask me because I don't know. I wish I knew. It'd make trading really easy if you could just show up and know where the news was going to go before it happened. But as we know, news is news for a reason. That means it's new information, right? So at least to us retail traders, maybe you could make the argument that, huge players and, the richest families in the world, they know all that data. And maybe they do, maybe they don't, but it doesn't make a difference. Actually, you know what? I'm copying Ivan right now. I was watching his stream yesterday and Ivan made that point. Julie says, thanks for making my day, everyone. Good job, guys. We did it. Yeah, so Ivan made the point yesterday on his stream. I was watching him and he talked about the fact that maybe there's manipulation going on. Maybe there's cheaters in the market. Actually, there definitely is cheaters in the market. We know that from the number of times that insider trading has been caught in financial markets. It's not something that I have access to. It's probably not something that you have access to. So it doesn't matter. Like I'm not going to insider trade. I'm not cheating the markets. There are cheaters in the market, but it doesn't really matter to me because it doesn't impact my trading. And Ivan made that point on his stream, which I thought was very, very smart. So even if there is cheating, even if there's market manipulation, if there's stop hunts going on, like that doesn't change the fact that I have a strategy that works for me and I'm going to keep trading it. Razvan says, hey, Nick, let's make a chat where we can get your opinion about some of our analysis because it will be very helpful. Razvan, we already have a chat. It is the private Discord. You can see it right here. So we do this every single day. We're chatting back and forth. Lots of people sharing thoughts and ideas inside of our private Discord. If you are not already in the Discord, there is a link down below in the description. You can also see the trades that I'm taking. You can see Frank's trades, Patrick's trades, research that we're doing. We put out a weekly forecast. Our team does. It's not really me, but our other analysts here do that. We put out trade ideas. There's chat rooms. Again, all sorts of good stuff. We do live webinars. So if you guys are not already in the Discord, you're seriously missing out. There's tons of good stuff for you in there. And if you are not already in there, link is down below in the description. It's the first link in the description, and there's a promo code for you to get access. Try it for a month. I think that you will be very happy and you'll probably stick around for the long term. Again, that's myself and our entire team that work very, very hard to make that community the best place possible for new and experienced traders to hang out, to learn stuff, to work together, etc. So if you're not already in there, click the link down below in the description. Try it for 1 month. I'm serious. I think you're very, very likely to enjoy it and to stick around. That is the result of like 2 years of working every day to make the best place for traders, both new and experienced, to hang out, to learn, and to improve and work together. So if you're not already in there, like I said, jump in there. Ivan, there he is. Okay, so Ivan says that if there is manipulation, just follow it, study it, learn it, and make it your alpha. Ooh, look at that. Great wise words from the Ivan FX, who will be back on the stream maybe tomorrow. I haven't looked at his message. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I purposely don't look at someone's message. This is Ivan, by the way, sent me a message on Discord. There's his nice picture. So I haven't looked at it, but I'll purposely not open a text or a message so that I don't forget and not respond to somebody. So Ivan, I will get to you after the stream. I'm not sure what you said. It's like a mystery box that I'm going to open after the stream. So yeah. So like I said, Dollar Cat, I mean, there it goes. It's still pushing higher. And this level now we even have to mark as green. So pausing and waiting there to see if we can look for fresh supply up at this point. I'd be interested in that. So anyways, I think that's going to probably wrap up the stream, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Like I said, we have a big stream headed up tomorrow at 8 a.m. U.S. Eastern, which is 1 hour prior to the usual streams. I'll be going live. May have a guest on, may not have a guest on, but either ways, we'll definitely be covering NFP and watching the news with you guys and getting some raw reactions there. Oh, look at that. I just got stopped out. That's lovely. So Aussie dollar kept going there. I think so. I didn't even get to film this trade. Dang it. Look at this. I took a long today on Aussie dollar, took a loss there. It's all good though. I've been using really small position sizes after my win streak. I mentioned this on my channel pretty regularly. I'll like purposefully take smaller positions to diminish my ego after a win streak. It sounds kind of weird, but like honestly, when you take wins over and over, it feels really good. And so you're like, I feel invincible. I can't lose. And now this is helping me to sober up. But I did take a loss there. Tried to catch the bottom of this range. It's been holding very well overall. So that's a nice little, probably a trigger for the sells out there, the sell traders. So interesting stuff. Yeah, gold, I bet, is really tanking now. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Gold is steeply selling off. And again, that was why, I had no interest in rushing into longs on gold today. But again, you saw just there, I got stopped out of a trade. So it is what it is. Part of the process. Again, I'm not even worried about it because I took like half position sizes on my last two trades, which happened to both be losers. And that's exactly why I do that. So after a long win streak, I take smaller positions to prepare myself for the inevitable, losses that are going to come at some point or another. How much you take on a loss is up to you to control. So that's what I did. I stopped out. So with that said, it is what it is. I basically hopped out of that trade there today on Aussie dollar, and I'll probably look for more stuff. Everything is moving really well. So I will either take a trade today or I'll possibly wait for tomorrow's news before making a decision. But as always, if I take a trade, I'll share it inside of the Discord. If you're not already in the Discord, there is a link and promo code down below in the description. Come join us, come trade with us. Maybe I'll have some better trades coming forward, but lately we've had really good ones. So I'm not even complaining. With that said, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see some of you guys tomorrow.